Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And some big reporting just coming out now from Just the News, and the great investigative journalist John Solomon reporting that Zohran Mamdani's father, of course, the Democratic Socialist in the New York City mayoral race, his father claimed moral equivalence between the U.S. and al-Qaeda and compared the Afghan War to 9/11. His father, Mahmoud, who's a prominent leftist for sure in his own right, penned a number of books, including one in the wake of the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Like father, like son, guys, here it is. When he argued that there was a moral equivalence between the United States and al-Qaeda. Yeah, a moral equivalence between the U.S. and al-Qaeda. He compared the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan to the terrorist destruction of the World Trade Center. Are you kidding me? And he blamed the U.S. for 9/11 and al-Qaeda and so much more. Sounds like Hassan Piker. We were just talking about that social media guy who a couple years ago said America deserved 9/11. They created it. Well, guess what? Zohran Mamdani's father feels the same way. New details just coming out, literally just breaking from Just the News, the great investigative journalist. Really disgusting. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Viviana in Brooklyn on line 5. Go ahead, Viviana. Your thoughts tonight.
I am so much in agreement with what you're saying about Mamdani. I thought about what happened in the first debate. I saw that Mamdani, quote unquote, was kind of polished and smug and arrogant. But in the second debate, it was drastically different. Did you notice how they were pummeling him between Sliwa and Cuomo, and all of a sudden everything started to change. He started to sweat profusely, and especially when Errol Lewis caught him and told him, frankly, you're refusing to answer direct questions. So I really believe that one of his strategies was, okay, I got to put them on the offensive, and it was then that he threw down the race card.
Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting point because he was sweating. By the way, it was like a river was coming out of his head. And you're right. You know what? And you know the moment, too, Viviana, you hit it really on the head. I remember Cuomo said, remember the question was about the ballot initiatives. How are you going to vote on these ballot initiatives? And there's a whole bunch of them that are on the ballot also, in addition to mayor and other positions, right? And he's like, well, I haven't really made a decision, which is such a cowardice answer. On it. And either he's stupid and ill-informed or he obviously doesn't want to say. And so even Cuomo hit him up and said, you kidding me? You don't know your answer to what you're going to do on the ballot initiatives? Like, you're running for mayor and you don't know what some of these important initiatives are? And he was like, because he was trying to get away with not being locked in or anything that, total politician. And you're right. He started sweating and he was sweating profusely. And you're right. Now he's pulling out this Islamophobia card that's like the crutch, right?
Exactly. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest problems that we have is that people are not only afraid of his rhetoric, but that when they start to really pull out the truth, that's when he says, oh, it's Islamophobia. You know what I learned also? There is a tremendous new book called Intifada on the Hudson by Robert Spencer.
Intifada on the Hudson. That's a good name.
Yes. And it's by Robert Spencer. And it reveals that Mamdani is what's called a 12er Shiite. And that is what's practiced in Iran. And in their, every day in their mosque, they chant death to America. He is directly connected to the 12er Shiites in Iran.
Well, that's really comforting. I mean, it's amazing. Thank you. That's an interesting point, Viviana, because it seems like his position is so strident. It's so, and I brought up also this dedication to the Democratic Socialists of America. They're not Democrats, they're socialists. And the fact that they kicked out a Jewish reporter recently at an event, like, you're not welcome here, that's frightening. I mean, that is kind of 1930s Germany stuff. When you hear that, is that how they're going to run New York City and try to put mini Mamdanis across the country? He's already said that, he sees big things, that the plan is to sort of take over the Democratic Party. I mean, good Democrats got to speak out and say, we can't surrender our party to this evilness. I mean, that's how I feel. It is such a dark, scary view that it's hard to turn back once you've sort of surrendered. And a number of them are folding like cheap suits, including Governor Kathy Hochul and Hakeem Jeffries, Viviana.
I feel that instead of protecting the taxpayer, they want to protect their own skin. But you know what's going to happen to them, Rita? As soon as these useful idiots are no longer valuable to them, they're going to take them out too. And one of the other things I wanted to bring out, and thank you for taking my call, is that there is this it's like a term called taqiyya. So they are under that, they are allowed to lie to the infidels so that they can reach their goal. So that's why when he was getting caught in so many lies and he's getting exposed and everything, people are saying, but wait, he is practicing what is called taqiyya.
Wow. And explain what that means.
That under certain Islamic traditions, that it is permissible to lie to the infidels if it's going to help you reach your goals. So lying is
intifada at all costs.
Right. And the thing is that they don't condemn the people for using the technique called taqiyya, and people can look that up. And because he has a goal to achieve a certain point in his campaign or even in everyday life with other people, because they have a certain goal and it doesn't matter what they say or do as long as they reach the goal. So it's permissible to lie.
That's amazing. But I'm not surprised, sadly. But boy, your points are very powerful, and boy, are they timely. And it's incredible that we are speaking at this moment about somebody who is running and who's still in the lead. But the race is tightening, guys. Cuomo is getting closer to beating Mamdani. The question is, will the trend continue? And will people get out and vote? Early voting has already started, as you know, Viviana. Tell all your friends that got to get out and vote. This election is critical for New York's future, for America's future. This is not an ordinary election. Nobody can sit on the sidelines. Whoever can beat Mamdani, that's the bottom line. Viviana, thank you. Really eye-opening stuff. Really powerful. Thank you very much. Let's go to Liz in Florida. Liz, your thoughts tonight on line 2.
Hi, Rita. Hope you're doing well. I
I am, except Liz, do you have a lot of room for millions of New Yorkers who are going to flee down there if Mamdani gets elected?
You know, I'm in real estate, Rita.
You're a lucky woman.
I was debating whether or not to advertise, but then I didn't want, to do it because of this reason. But anyway, everybody's welcome. There's plenty of room. So I was looking up the Democratic Socialists of America online just to see who they are. And of course, there's a picture of this communist with AOC. And they have these statements, and this is exactly where this guy is getting all his information from. So, listen to this. DSA calls on Senator Bernie Sanders to demand an end to arms sales to Israel. The DSA strongly condemns United States military aggression against Venezuela. Let's see. It says Israel's assault on Palestinian people, or the theft and occupation of Palestinian, it continues, even though there's a ceasefire. Let's see. DSA condemns Trump's big, beautiful bill and calls for House to vote no. In New York City, socialism has won. And it says, end the raids, lift the ban, drop the charges. DSA stands with immigrants. They condemn the genocidal U.S.-led escalation in West Asia. To beat fascism, we need socialism. And then it says, for the past 15 months, Israel and the United States have carried out the genocide of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. And it goes on and on and on. And they're poisoning the minds of people, and it's beyond scary, Rita. And I know we all know this, okay? But this communist is an example of how he's also been poisoned, because this is what's been told to him through his father and through this organization. All his policies are the policies of the DSA. So you're right. The people are either stupid or ill-informed, and we need to put a real fear in New Yorkers, either with ads, billboards, TV, whatever it takes, because I don't think they realize how scary this is.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely frightening. And you just heard what John Solomon is reporting about the father. His writing. So that's why it's like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The same father who, Liz, it wasn't that long ago where he said that people need to have sympathy for suicide bombers, that they're nice people who are just misunderstood. But the father believes, just like Hassan Piker and others, and probably Mamdani himself, that America brought on and caused 9/11 and essentially deserved it. I mean, that's despicable. This is his own father, who he looks up to, who is one of the greatest people in his life, who's written a whole bunch of books, and every single one of them is more vile than the next. And this is what he was living in. So this, and he's associating with, how about that imam who, had ties to the individual tied to the 1993 bombing. And he continues to be hanging around these people. It's like he's throwing it in our face. Like, I feel like if bin Laden were alive today, he'd invite him over for dinner. I mean, this is frightening, Liz.
I totally agree. And I don't think he should be allowed to be a candidate. He's anti-American. We need to stop him somehow.
Well, you heard the news tonight that the Department of Justice is looking into him for potential criminal charges, at least his campaign. And let's see where it goes. Liz, thank you. Really interesting, the details you just provided about the Democratic Socialists of America. Liz, thank you very, very much. And keep room for us there in Florida. We may all be moving down if this guy gets elected. Let's hope not. Let's hope not, guys. Let's go to Jerry in New Jersey, line 4. Go ahead, Jer.
Yeah, hi, Rita. What I would like is for the UCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, to give a referral from Mamdani to the Department of Justice and have them look at his 18-year period is what they can look at. 10 years looking back from when he made his application to be a citizen, and 5 years looking forward from the time he became a citizen. And the reason it's about 18 years, I'm sure it took a year or two to at least get that thing going. So it's about an 18-year period, roughly, but at least 15 definitely. And here's the deal. If he has any affiliation with a communist party during those 15 years, any, type of affiliation with a communist party, any type of affiliation with a terrorist group, and any type of affiliation with or any type of affiliation with a totalitarian group. Just one instance of that, and he's a liar, and he has made a mistake that an honest judge, I don't know if we could ever get one because he would be in the Second Circuit, the Southern District of New York. It's a judge who makes this ruling. It's just a civil ruling. He can be removed. Now, you could go criminal, but don't go that way. They can go civil and get him removed.
But you know the problem, Jerry, the problem is that you look at, and I hear you because I believe a lot of his views do seem to me to be anti-American. He came in pledging allegiance to America. He's only been a citizen. It's either 7 or 8 years, so it's not that long. But the problem is Mahmoud Khalil. I use that example because he was the head of those protests, the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas protests on college campuses, and they're still going back and forth with him. So it takes a long time while things are litigated and appealed and this and that. And that case has been going on a long time, maybe a year, right? Almost, at least. That's, pretty close to it. So the fact that case is continuing, meantime, the election's a week away. So that's the reason that, let's see where this goes with the DOJ investigation. I agree there's probably something there on the other thing. The question is, that takes a long time. And right now, time is of the essence. We are 6 days away from Election Day. Jerry, thank you very much, but great points. 1-800-848-9222, and you're listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has movies. So many movies. The movies you've seen 1,000 times and could watch 1,000 more. Iconic movies your friends can't believe you haven't seen. New movies, classic movies, new takes on classic movies. So whether you're into Top Gun or The Naked Gun, Mean Girls or Mission Impossible, Smurfs or Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a mountain of movies to discover on Paramount Plus. Start streaming today.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
Hey friends, this is Audie Cornish, host of CNN This Morning and The Assignment, and guess what? Every story you care about, every angle you want unpacked is now streaming on CNN. That means you can catch my show or other CNN programming whenever you want on your favorite device. And a subscription also gets you access to exclusive video series and unlimited articles. So subscribe to CNN at cnn.com/subscription.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue your calls. Let's go to Joaquin in Pennsylvania. Joaquin, your thoughts tonight?
Good evening, Rita. I'm so sorry. I'm going to ruffle your feathers, but I have to give credit to that lady, Viviana. She nailed it about taqiyya. This is something that people really need to understand. Now, first thing is this. Honestly, now, one of my younger brothers was a New York City cop, and I actually took the police exam myself, and I scored in the top 1%. But anyway, under Cuomo, I don't think he's going to stop the blue exodus because most of his policies have created the anti-police atmosphere.
He'll be a lot better than Mamdani. That is the reality. I'm not, and by the way, Joaquin, believe me, he is not without flaws. The problem is this guy, I keep saying it is a 5-alarm fire with this Mamdani. I mean, there is no question. I'm going to carry you over, Joaquin, because we got a hard break here, and I want to hear more. But the reality is he is now 10 points within Mamdani. He clearly is the closest person to beat Mamdani, and that is the only mission right now. 5-alarm blaze for sure.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Rita Cosby is on.
And you know I always love reading your comments here on X, formerly known as Twitter. Sal says, Rita, I think that Governor Kathy Hochul is too politically frightened to protect New York City from Mamdani's socialist plans for the city. He says, indeed, when was the last time she even confronted the state legislature? I really hope that I am wrong. I hope I agree with you. By the way, Nikki also writing, Rita, good evening. In regard to Zohran Mamdani, is this the October surprise that we were hoping for? Referring, I assume, to what we talked about at the top of the show, that he is being now criminally investigated. His campaign is, at least, for criminal referrals to the DOJ for alleged illegal campaign donations from foreigners, that they are at least looking into it. And of course, we'll see what happens. It is certainly illegal to receive, and especially knowingly received, funds from foreign sources. And in the middle of all this, the other big news that we just talked about, that John Solomon is reporting, like father, like son, that Zohran Mamdani's father claimed there is a moral equivalence between the United States and al-Qaeda. And he compared the Afghan War to 9/11, sort of this America deserved it type attitude. And it sounds a lot like we were talking about Hassan Piker. Of course, he is the popular streamer who, here it is in his own words, this is what he said in the past, that America deserved 9/11. And this is a good friend of Zohran Mamdani's.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it. Like, we totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy we did. We did.
We did. We deserved it. We deserved it. We asked for it. Really nice. And that's the guy who was hanging out at the rally last weekend with Zohran Mamdani and AOC and also Bernie Sanders. And in the middle of all of this, Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is number 2 handily in the polls there against Zohran Mamdani and closing in, according to a number of polls. So that is good. Anybody but Mamdani, you guys. And now he is saying that Donald Trump is essentially going to take over New York City if Zohran Mamdani gets into the mayor's office, because he is going to want to block the NYPD from helping ICE. He is going to open up the jails, allow repeat offenders to roam wild. You can imagine what that does for crime on the streets. Free buses. All the vagrants are going to want to hang out on the free city buses. That's going to make the ride really fun. And so Andrew Cuomo said, look out, New York. If this guy gets elected, Trump will send the full force of the military and other things to New York to take over and take authority away from this guy, because he will be so, so dangerous. He's going to be fighting Trump tooth and nail. There is no doubt. Mamdani's already saying that that is his plan. Meantime, Tom Homan says it's open season on New York City. Listen to what he said earlier today. This is the big border czar.
Mr. Homan, Zohran Mamdani, the likely next mayor of New York City, has promised not to cooperate with you or with ICE or deportations of any kind. Do you have a plan? Is there a plan to work around that? How are you going to handle it?
Good luck on that, because we're going to be in New York City, and President Trump said it 2 weeks ago. We're going to double down, triple down on sanctuary cities. Why? Not because they're a blue city or a blue state, because we know that's where the problem is. We know they're releasing public safety threats and national security threats to the streets every day because they don't honor our detainers. We know that. We don't have that problem like in Florida, where every sheriff in the state's working with us. So where we're going to send our assets, we're going to send them where the problem is. Sanctuary cities. So I've said it before, we'll flood the zone of sanctuary cities. If they don't let us arrest a bad guy in the county jail, they're going to arrest him in the community. We're going to arrest them at a work site. So we're going to increase community operation. We're going to increase worksite enforcement operation. We're going to get the bad guys. So if they don't want to help, get out of the way. We're coming to do it.
I love Tom Homan. He's like Clint Eastwood. Get out of the way. Make my day. We are coming in. And he's already dealing with Chicago. I mean, the situation there is completely nuts. And also all the threats that has been happening all the time. I mean, it's really, really extraordinary to see what they had to deal with, the men and women of ICE, every single day. In fact, Tom Homan telling those who are opposing ICE, put on your uniform. Let's see if you can handle what these men and women, these courageous men and women are dealing with every single day. Let's see if you can handle it for a few hours. And boy, is that not the perfect message to say to somebody like Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. This exchange, I had to play it for you guys because it's just shocking. There's a reporter who started asking a question and said, talking about illegal aliens, those who are in the country, illegal. That is a constitutional term, alien, somebody who was not born in this country. So illegal aliens, okay, that came into this country illegally. You would think it fits. It's in the Constitution. But Brandon Johnson says it's a racist term, and he scolded the reporter for using that phrase. Listen to this.
We don't have illegal aliens. Yeah. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you would have had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
That's incredible. Like, how dare you use the phrase illegal alien? That's not politically correct. This is a guy who has let Chicago roam wild, criminals go back out on the streets, protecting criminals, scolding ICE, and he's worried what a reporter refers to aptly and correctly, calling them illegal aliens. And he's not alone with all these crazy talk. Jasmine Crockett, we haven't talked about her for a while. Here's another doozy from the Congresswoman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett. And she is saying that ICE agents remind her of the KKK. Yeah, you heard it right. Here it is.
Like, this administration is racist. That he has always been a racist, and that is what we are enduring in this country. What we were experiencing in this country felt like what I would imagine slave patrols to look like. We're talking about lawless people that are going around with no warrants or anything, and it's all about rounding people up and disappearing them. But we know that we have a racist at the top. He has called himself the head law enforcement agent in this country, where everybody has decided that it is okay to take off their hoods and mask up as ICE agent. It reminds me of the Klan.
It reminds me of the Klan. I mean, what a disgusting, horrible analogy at a time where attacks on ICE are up 1,000%. And not to be outdone, here's another member of the squad, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, Democrat of Washington State. And listen to this legal scholar. I'm being facetious. Listen to this.
Let me just say something right here. It is very important that people in Illinois and across the country understand the immigration system is a civil system. Undocumented presence in the United States is not a criminal offense.
All right, so if you're in the country illegally, it is a crime. She somehow seems to think it's not a problem being in the country illegally. Obviously, those who have committed very serious, horrible crimes, in addition to being in the country illegally, those are the ones who are being targeted right now by the White House, as they should, because a lot of them have murder, rape, some very serious crimes in their background. But the reality is, if you're in the country and you're not supposed to be in the country, that is a criminal offense. From the great legal expert, Pramila Jayapal, who seems to think it's okay to have an open border, no matter if you're unvetted. No big deal. What an idiot. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Louie in Queens on line 2. And let's actually go to Stan on line 3. Oh, well, sorry. Let's go back to Joaquin. We can go back to Joaquin on line 4. Go ahead.
Okay, you there, Rita?
I'm with you, Joaquin. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, I didn't. Okay, so anyway, the thing of it is this. This is the Democrat Party. Okay, that's the interesting thing. And think about how scary this is, that if he winds up getting elected, okay, there's nobody in the New York Democrat government, New York State government that's going to oppose anything that he wants to do. Now, interestingly, I made a note. I think I heard it on Cats and Cos. I don't know who said it, but someone said that, of course, he wants to keep the police's noses out of business that they don't belong in. You know what business that actually is? That business is domestic violence. Because, you see, in most Islamic countries, they don't have a domestic violence problem because it's just confused with, a Muslim husband's duty to correct his insolent wife, So, there's another problem right there.
So what are you going to do? What do you think, Joaquin? I know you're not in New York, but if you were in New York, what would you do?
Rita, I'm so conflicted on this because here's another thing. Again, under COVID, I know that's long dead and gone, but, that was a real assault on freedom and dignity. And I told my wife during COVID, after watching what went on in New York, I don't care if I'm having a heart attack. I'm not going anywhere near a hospital where they might lock me up in there. And, and luckily I worked for a company.
Joaquin, you got to get to the point. The election is 6 days away. What would you? 6 days away. You have a choice to pick someone who's a terrorist sympathizer or someone who's not. What do you do?
I guess I would reluctantly hold my nose and vote for Cuomo, but unfortunately, I think that there's a lot of people who are not going to do it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm seeing more and more people saying what you're saying in terms of voting for Cuomo, because this guy is so dangerous and so frightening. And that's why I say to everybody, this is not a normal election. And some of these philosophies that you just so aptly talked about, and some of the other things, it's just frightening. It really is. It's chilling. And this new news and his family saying all these things, it's scary. And so I think a lot of people are going to be, however they feel, they'll hold their nose and vote. Whatever you can do to make sure that we don't have a Democratic socialist who I believe is a terrorist sympathizer. Bottom line, that is the bottom line. And it is really, really serious stuff. Joaquin, interesting. And thank you for holding on too. So appreciate it. Let's go to Louis now on line 2. Go ahead, Louis.
Oh, Rita, tremendous show. I love it. No jail, no bail, no police. These guys are crazy.
Yeah, totally. It sounds, I use the expression like Mad Max. It's like a wild movie.
No, they're maniacs. Go, Curtis, go! Go, Curtis!
Well, Louis, let's see where it goes. Listen, that's why I tell everybody, whatever they can do to block Mamdani. And everybody you have a right to vote for whoever you want. Most important thing is who you think can beat Mamdani. That is the bottom line, Louis. That's the bottom line. Let's go to Pete in New Jersey. Go ahead, Pete.
Remember that for
Pete, I can't hear you. Pete, I can't hear you.
They're going through this and relying on a visa.
All right, Pete, you got to get a better phone. I'm not going to waste my time. Let's go to Joy in Manhattan, line 5. Go ahead, Joy. Let's see if you got a better phone than that lousy one we just heard.
I hope so.
Boy, yes, much better. Thank you, Joy.
Okay, Rita, there is some backstop to Mamdani, and there's a race that has been obscured by the mayoral race, and that's the race for Manhattan District Attorney. And whether you vote for Cuomo or Curtis, you can vote for Maud Marin for Manhattan District Attorney. She's running against Dalvin Bragg.
Yep.
She's lifelong Democrat who became Republican to run against Dalvin Bragg. She spent 20 years working for legal aid, and she is a fierce fighter against anti-Semitism. She was kicked off her school board for writing an op-ed against anti-Semitism. She sued the city, and she was reinstated on the same day that the school's chancellor, who made her life miserable, was forced to resign.
Right. By the way, you're right. I'm so glad you talked about that. And I've had Maud on the 5 o'clock show. We had him on a bit ago. A very impressive woman. And you're right, a great person, and important for people to know that there is a challenger, with some great values who is going up against Alvin Bragg. That is a great point, Joy. And I'm so glad that you brought it up, because that needs to people. There are a lot of things on the ballot, and we can't forget about that either. Thank you very much. Great points, Joy. Thank you for calling. Let's go to Alice in Ohio on line 2. Go ahead, Alice.
Hi, Rita. Thanks for taking my call. The next thing Mamdani is going to do is to encourage the teachers to report on what their parents say at home. And this Citizens Complaint Board, it's a nightmare. They follow the officers, and they haunt them while they're on duty, and they bring them in for nothing, absolutely nothing. One man reported a cop for using street language when he was arresting him, because it was a tough arrest. And this man had to explain why he used street language. The man was offended.
Wow. Well, you know what? I am telling you, and I'm so glad you're talking about this, Alice, because that Civilian Complaint Review Board would take the place of the NYPD commissioner, who typically is the person who oversees and has sort of final authority on police discipline. And you know what's really scary, you guys? And Alice, you just triggered another point about this Mamdani guy. When he was asked, hey, what's your criteria for somebody head of the NYPD to be commissioner? His first answer was, I would like so-and-so who did a good job essentially disciplining police. The answer wasn't cleaning up the streets and keeping the community safe. That was like second tier. But in other words, his view is anybody who can keep the police in line, that's what he thinks is the priority. And the police are going to leave in droves. Who would ever want to work for somebody like that, who clearly makes that his priority? And I just read you guys all those lines about defund the police. This man, as my friend Judge Weinberg says, is a clear and present danger. You guys, we're going to continue your calls right after the break. 1-800-848-9222. And now, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a powerful story from Monessen, Pennsylvania, where veterans of all ages and from all military branches recently came together for a big veterans luncheon. Now, among those recognized was a veteran named Ron Krumeluk, and he was presented with a special certificate, and he was also recently added to the Wall of Fame at a local high school. I love that. He, by the way, entered the Air Force 7 days after graduation. He went on to serve more than 21 years around the world in aircrew life support systems. And how beautiful that he and other veterans were honored at this luncheon there in Pennsylvania. And everybody, America's heroes need your help. Donate $11 a month to the great Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. T2T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to Robert in Brooklyn. Go ahead, Robert, your thoughts tonight.
Thanks for taking my call. Well, I agree with Jerry, and there was actually who called who you spoke to about 30 minutes ago, and there's an article, Saturday's Post, by Goff Earl, quote, House Republicans want to strip Zohran Mamdani of citizenship, possibly deport NYC mayoral front roller over form omissions, unquote. I want him deported, and I know you said that there's a situation with Khalid, well, it didn't work out. I don't care. I want to at least try, however small the possibility is. And obviously, we have to get out a vote for Andrew Cuomo, because it's our only chance, Cuomo. But still, regardless of what happens in this election, even though you keep talking about that Khalid guy that it didn't work out with, I want them to at least try to get this guy Mamdani to take him over, strip him of his citizenship, and deport him, whether Uganda or wherever he came from, India. If they don't want him there, let him go to El Salvador, or maybe Elon Musk could fly him to the moon.
Wow. By the way, Robert, and they are looking into it. Randy Fine, Congressman of Florida, and Andy Ogles are the two congressmen who are sponsoring that legislation. They are looking into it. And now, of course, the big news, guys, that the DOJ has a criminal referral about maybe foreign funds into his campaign. So there could be a lot of investigations.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.